Hi, Year 6, Tuesday, week 4, we got this. Let's start off with today. We're going to look at our literacy contract. First activity you guys are going to do. Just a reminder, like we talked about yesterday, 2 tasks need to be done today, and we want them to be done to a pretty high standard. So make sure that when you're going through those tasks, you're not answering them to the bare minimum of what you can do. Make sure you're going through and you're adding as much detail as you can. If they're not up to standard, Mrs. Moore and I will give you some feedback on that, and that we'll expect you to either change that or apply that feedback for the next day and make sure you guys are doing your best quality work that you can for literacy contract. Same again, it's located under, you can click on this link, or it's under the literacy tab in our Google Classroom, and it's accessible there. And put your work either onto this slide here or on the next slide there as well.
All right, moving on to our shared reading now. I don't know if we mentioned this, where our shared reading this week is going to be all the winners of each of the years. So each year you're listening to the winner of the speech. So today we want you to be looking at Christian's speech. And we've got there, after reading the question, watch this video and it will help you, because we want to talk about the first, second, and third person. So watch the video after we've read all this information. So Christian changes perspectives throughout his speech. So what are the 2 perspectives, or is it as in what is the 2 different persons that he's talking in? Is it the first person and third person? Is it the first person and second person? What is he using throughout his speech? So does he use the first, second, and or third person in his speech? And if so, where does he do it? And can you give me an example of him doing that? So watch the video, and it's going to talk about what it means to speak in the first person or the second person or the third person, just so you have an idea. But I would be watching that video before you watch Christian's video, because otherwise you won't know what to look for. So again, you can write your answers on that next slide. So for your writing today, you will have edited your writing yesterday. So today you're going to be looking at getting your work approved from your teacher, because if you haven't edited yet, maybe your teacher won't have said you can start your palm cards. So I want you to think about doing your palm cards. So I have got a link there. Mr. Martin has already scrolled down the screen and has gone to the 10 features of good cue cards. So cue cards are palm cards. Now, listen, you do not have to use this. This is just an idea. If you would like to write your speech out onto palm cards, the whole thing, you are more than welcome to. But if you've been watching our shared reading speeches, those people haven't got their whole speech written out on their palm cards. They have just got certain things on their palm cards that will remind them because they've memorized their speech. So there's a few ideas on there. So you just have the main idea of your on one of the palm cards, showing, having a heading. You might want to use different colors. You might just want to do bullet points. Totally up to you. You choose how you do your palm cards. Mr. Martin and I will not be looking at your palm cards. They are purely for you only. So you think about, how do you want to use your palm cards? Mr. Martin, would you like to add anything to that?
That's it. This is more like, palm cards are up to individual people. So if you want to write your whole speech on there and read it off that, like Mrs. Moore said, you can do that. For those people that are probably looking to get top marks though, you'll be probably looking more so in memorizing your speech. You're not going to get marked on these palm cards though, like Mrs. Moore said. What you're going to be marked on is your speech and its delivery. We're not going to be looking at these palm cards as an extra bit of points. It's just whatever's going to help you to help memorize this speech and deliver it as well as you can.
Yep.
And that'll take us up to maths now, year 6. So again, warm up, Matific or a study ladder task, at least 1. If you want to do 2 or 3, go for your life, warm your brain up and ready to go for maths. So what you will need to do here is that you will need to have a look at some of these numbers. So we want you guys to practice your division today. Now, if you've forgotten how to do long division, there is a video here that will talk you through what you need to do step by step. You can watch that video and that will really help you. So what you'll need to do is that you'll need to choose 2 of these numbers and just do some division, practice that long division and practice dividing it. Have a look, so maybe I might choose 180 divided by 3, and I've got to try and divide those two. I've got to try and divide and see how many times does 3 go into 180. There's an extension prompt there. Try to divide numbers that will have remainders. So maybe you might have some remainders in your answers. And for those people that really want to try and push themselves, see if you can find it if your answer and try and find it in decimal places rather than putting it just as a remainder. And you guys can put your work into the next slide after here. If you want to do it in your books and take a photo, upload it, or if you want to work directly into this doc, you can do that as well.
Mr. Martin and I have changed this last slide. You'll notice that over the last few weeks, we've had sport and music here, but Mrs. Payne is actually giving you sport or brain exercises, brain breaks to do as throughout the whole week. So Mrs. Payne has uploaded a table, a matrix, whatever you want to call it, for the whole week. So we've just taken that away because people are a bit confused about that. So we've just left music there. Mrs. Harmon often just puts some music up at 11:30. So keep an eye out. Mrs. Harmon will upload that work for you on our Google Classroom page under Creative Arts.
Yep. And then for sport, guys, like Mrs. Moore said, Mrs. Payne puts those up. You might choose to do some of those activities that she puts up there, or you might just decide to go for a bit of a run around outside, just do some sport and be active for that hour or so.
Have a great day, Year 6.
Thanks, Year 6. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.